What up, though? Hold on, let me grab a marker. Oh, that's not a marker. Okay. Anyways, I wanted to bring something to your attention on this conveniently placed whiteboard. Chances are you can't read that, so I'll tell you what that says. That says biodiversity. Now I need to erase it, and there's no erasers. Whatever, we'll just caveman the crap out of it. So what is biodiversity? Biodiversity is diversity in natural life. So you may notice when you go out to the wilderness, you'll see some animals. And these animals will vary. That's diversity. Because they're not all the same animal. They aren't all deers, they aren't all wolves, they aren't all fish, they aren't all mammals, and so on and so forth. Usually, naturally, this does okay. Some animals can adapt to environments naturally, in naturally formed environments. That's called natural extinction. I'm not going to talk about that because that's normal and can happen if I have anything to say about it. So we have 3 big points. Poaching, which in the United States isn't very common because there's not really a reward in like countries with, say, some elephants or some rhinoceroses. You can get their tusks and make ivory, which is expensive. But here in the United States, it's more for sport. You know, we have hunting season. If you go and shoot a bunch of animals when it's not hunting season, then that's illegal and can be classified as poaching. So we're not really going to talk about that because it's not really a big problem here. It's a big problem in other parts, but not so much here. A bigger problem is invasive species, and I'm not even going to write that. That's going to take a while. I don't really have that much to say about them. Actually, this entire thing is going to be about them, but I'm still not going to write them. And then we have rebuilding the environment, blah, 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 which is something that we'll talk about later, hopefully. So, invasive species is the big idea here. So, essentially, invasive species can be any living organism that overpopulates and is not supposed to be in that area. So, for example, around here, people do boat things and boat activities and boat stuff. And how do you transport a boat? Wow. Okay. Okay, yeah, we got this thing going. A car. Oh, man. Okay, a car with a trailer, I guess, because I didn't leave enough for a roof rack. Trailer. Okay, so you put the boat on the trailer. Boat. Okay, so now we have a car and a boat, and you're gonna go with your family to go boating. Boating, something that I don't really do, but you know, I guess it can be cool. So, when you do go boating, there's these things, you may have heard of them, they're called insects. Now, insects like to live near or on the water. So what that means is when you take this boat right here that I've so wonderfully drawn and put it in the water, these bugs that are flying around and stuff are going to get up in your boat. And when these things get up in your boat, they stay in your boat. So when you drop it in the water, the bugs, blah, 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 you have some fun. Now there's bugs on your boat and bugs around your boat and bugs in your boat. Bugs. So what you do, if you're not very cool and not very smart, is you go pick up your boat, chances are the drive to the lake or the river or wherever you went boating is a long drive, and you have insects that are still alive in your boat that aren't supposed to be to where you're driving to, they're supposed to be to where you just drove. So without cleaning your boat, you go back home. No, that is bad. Don't. Because I'm going to draw a little diagram here. Boat, insects everywhere, car that moves away from where the insects are supposed to be, and the insects are supposed to go back there to their home, and now they aren't in their home. Oops, I ruined something. It's washable. So yeah. Ooh, I'm gonna need an eraser after this. So when that happens, and you stop your car, then those bugs that have a massive trek, 90-mile-per-hour winds all up in their face, that like to live in the water, that are still alive, they'll start flying out of your boat and leaving your boat in your neighborhood or wherever you live. And then after that, what's going to happen? Well, let's take this into big things. After you go boating, you take your boat into the absolute big forest of wilderness. So in the absolute big forest of wilderness, there are big plants and trees and flowers and animals everywhere. So what these bugs do, oh, my mark, okay. So what these bugs do is they kind of fly out of your boat and kill all these plants by eating them. Now, the herbivores like deers and stuff that like to eat the plants can't eat plants anymore because there's no more plants. Now the insects are out of plants too, and now the herbivores are dying, and the insects are going to go eat more plants so that the herbivores keep dying. And then guess what happens when the herbivores die? The predators die. The predators die. And when they do that, everything's dead. Because predators are at the top of the food chain. So when the top of the food chain dies, theoretically everything dies because it had nothing to eat. So the thing before it had nothing to eat, and so on and so forth. And that all happens from you not cleaning your boat when you leave the boat ramp. Now, like I said, it seems like we're focusing a lot on invasive species instead of poaching and environment rebuilding, like I said that we were. But that's okay, because this is a pretty big problem. It can cause a lot of damage. So now there's no more plants, there's no more animals, and there's no more bugs. So you broke a lot of stuff by not cleaning your boat. Excuse me. So if I had an eraser, I'd erase all that and explain, but I'll just do it verbally instead. So what you do when you do leave, if you are a cool person, is you clean your boat. You make sure that there are no more insects or creatures or plants that aren't supposed to be where they go in your boat. You just clean it before you leave. It takes a while. Everybody wants to do it when they get home because that's where all their stuff is. But honestly, it just kind of causes a problem depending on where you are. Like a residential area, it might not be that big, but it'll still have an effect, I'm sure. And if you go live out in the woods for a while, for whatever reason, after you just went boating, that can be kind of bad because insects thrive off of water and plants because, well, and other insects, I guess, but yeah. So it's bad, and you kind of have to clean your boat. Just, I don't know, actually. Cut. Okay, so cut again. Okay, so yeah, just clean your boat, because there was one other big point that I wanted to talk about, and I can't remember it right now. It was, oh yeah, Now there's no predators for the insects that you just brought over. So basically these insects thrive off of eating plants, and all the things that like to eat bugs tried to eat these bugs, and they were like, what? This doesn't make any sense. Because the bugs didn't taste right. So that's not nice. So they didn't eat the bugs, so the bugs just kept eating the plants without like dying due to predators. Like it's not a 0% chance that there won't be a predator for an invasive species, but it just doesn't adapt to the environment. It either really sucks and leaves corpses everywhere, or it does so good it leaves more corpses everywhere. And we don't really want corpses and dead things because we rely on a lot of alive things. So now I'm just going to talk about rebuilding the environment for a while because we're kind of out of time. I'm at 10 minutes, 11 I guess. So rebuilding the environment, I don't need that. So rebuilding the environment, a key thing here, right? So we're just going to replant plants and stuff because we can't genetically modify animals and throw them back into the forest that we just built. So instead we're just going to plant trees. So say we have a bunch of trees. It kind of does matter what kind. So I'll just go really generic here and say these are spruce trees right here that have all died. And these are, I don't know, naturally grown roses that have died. I don't know how that crap works. And then we plant oak trees and daisies. That won't work, obviously, because now the animals that are still alive and want to come back, that wanted to hang out with, what did I say? Spruce trees and roses? Can't hang out with spruce trees and roses anymore because now we have oak trees and daisies. So they're like, what is this? I don't even know what this is anymore. They can't eat those plants because they don't like them. They can't hang out with those plants because they don't know them. And then the herbivores get all sad and leave, so the predators have to get all sad and leave. So yeah, the key thing is to plant the plants that were already there. Don't genetically modify anything to make it grow faster. Don't get the wrong species. But the best way to do it is to make it to where the plants that have been non-existified or something just naturally regrow, because when they're being eaten and when they're being burned or whatever happened because of the invasive species, they'll still drop seeds and they can grow. So what you can do is like keep the environment safe and combat whatever broke it in the first place so that things can regrow naturally. So that's pretty much assured that it'll just go back to normal. Now there's like fully extinct and partially extinct, and like I said, just the invasive species died because they couldn't eat anything and there were predators that would go after them. But that's essentially it. So let's talk about poaching for a couple of seconds, or like 2 minutes or something. So like I said, in the United States it's not very common. It's more for sport than for like a business. But the problem in other places is that poaching is so easy and nobody really looks out for it. And it's so high risk, high reward that everybody that wants to do crime wants to do a little bit of poaching because of how easy and how cheap and also, finally, how productive it is. Ivory can be pretty expensive. And guess what? If you get the perfect shot on an elephant with an elephant gun or whatever you use to kill elephants, I don't know, then that's it. You're done. One elephant, and you get like tons of money. And elephants, they aren't the easiest ones, I'm sure. They definitely aren't the hardest. I mean, there are some predators, there are some prey, there are some top of the food chain, bottom of the food chain that have expensive goods. But elephants are a pretty easy thing to talk about because of the ivory tusks, and they have a few other things, but mostly just the ivory tusks that they poach them for. Those are expensive. and you don't have to do anything. You go out into the safari or wherever you poach the elephants that you've decided to poach the elephants in. You get the elephant, you get the goods, and then you get out. There you go. There's your money. It's not like you don't have to be careful. There's not a lot of park rangers or anything where this is happening. I'm sure there's quite a few, but not enough to completely neutralize it. Which brings me to the point where these other things can be pretty much completely neutralized, but poaching can't. Because just how easy and high reward it is. It tempts so many bad people into doing it that it's just kind of always going to be there. A couple of countries like Nepal claim that they don't have any poaching, but it's all there. There's poaching everywhere, even here still. And like I said, it's still kind of more for sport, which almost makes it worse, in my opinion. I don't know. This wasn't really a subject that I picked to do, okay? That's why it's so bad. So, there's my presentation. I'll give you a close-up of this whiteboard that you can't see with my terrible computer navigation skills. Okay, I give up. I'm going to pick up my markers, and I'm going to put my mask back on, and I'm going to upload this and edit it. And you are going to watch it, and you are going to not enjoy it. Goodbye.